Welcome to More Influence and Impact, the show that unlocks the secrets of success for multi six and seven figure entrepreneurs. I'm your host, Celia Faye Meisel, sales growth consultant, and I'm here to help you tap into the wealth of knowledge, strategies, and experiences of today's most influential industry leaders. Today, I have a special guest, Gulce Onganer, who I'm going to bring up. Hi, Gulce.
Hi, Celia. Hello, everyone.
So, Gulce is a full time YouTube content creator, video marketing strategist, and founder of Video Sales Mastery based in Rotterdam, the Netherlands. She helps ambitious coaches, consultants, and creative service providers go from unknown to in demand with videos that get clicked, get watched, and get paid. Video Sales Mastery offers VIP days, intimate group programs, and done for you YouTube channel management services. So I am so excited, Gulce, to dive into the power of YouTube and really using it as a marketing strategy to scale your business.
Yeah, I'm so happy to be here. This is something I love nerding out about. I love talking about all things video marketing and YouTube. Is there anything specific you want to get started with?
Yes. Well, let's talk about how you got into YouTube and what led you there.
Yeah. So basically, I have a story. I feel like it might be very familiar to the listener stories or the viewer stories, which is of, having a full-time job in an industry that I wasn't necessarily 100% in love with, and then search for more meaning in my life, which then has led me to start my own YouTube channel. So, a couple of years ago, I was working as an architect. I actually studied to become an architect. I was on my way climbing up the corporate ladder in different architecture offices, even kind of made my way up to project management. And then I feel like after that, I hit a wall. I started to ask myself, is this all there is? That's that big question that I feel like a lot of people ask themselves. And I realized that there's something else I could do, and I want to do something for myself. I don't know what that thing quite is. And then I just had this um, light bulb moment one day, probably like stepping out of the shower, like where all great ideas come from,
Mm-hmm.
that I should pursue starting my own YouTube channel, which then would bring my creative background, but also my sort of passion for like performance, being on stage, because I had some experience with that back in the day too. So that's kind of how I started my YouTube channel. And in just under 1 year, it started to grow, and I started to build a community over there. And the channel ended up being all about life, career, and business in the Netherlands, because it just felt like the lowest hanging fruit for me at the time. And then that on its own evolved into a business. And then eventually, over the following months from that, people in my entrepreneurial circle started asking me, hey, we want to do that thing that you're doing for our own business. Can you help us? And that's how Video Sales Mastery was born in a nutshell. So I just really went from like being a corporate employee, climbing up the corporate ladder, to start to question, like, is this all there is, to build up the courage to leave that profession, start a YouTube channel, not knowing exactly where it would lead me, and then switching to a career in digital marketing, and then actually leaving that as well to start Video Sales Mastery. So, and here we are having this
And here we
conversation.
are.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. And so you obviously had to see the power of YouTube for yourself before you were able to really communicate that to others. So, what were some of those initial things that you really saw in YouTube as a potential to help you grow a business?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I actually uploaded my first ever YouTube video during the Christmas period of 2010. I was like not an entrepreneur back then, and my future was really unknown at the time, because I was like, what do I even study? Where do I go to university? And I uploaded my first video singing Frank Sinatra's Fly Me to the Moon, because at that time, like I mentioned, I was doing like musical theater, nothing professional, but it was just bringing me a lot of joy and fun. And I didn't know at the time what YouTube would become. And, fast forward pretty much 9 years when I started my first proper YouTube channel, making it in Holland. My number one thing was like, you know what? I was quote unquote one of the early adopters, but I didn't have the entrepreneurial mindset. And I didn't even see what could become of this platform. Even though I'm now restarting all over 9 years later, I'm just going to go all in on this, and I'm not going to give up, and I'm going to see if I can realize my untapped potential in one way or another. So, the number one thing I really want everyone to take away from this is like, it's never too late or never too early to start anything. You can start something, fail at it multiple times. Things might not really pan out the way that you hope that they would. And then you can go back and try again. So if you do want to start on YouTube, and if you've had bad experiences in the past with, being on video, pursuing video marketing for your own business, like, don't let that be the thing that stops you from putting yourself out there one more time. So that's like the number one thing. The second thing is, it's this instant gratification versus intellectually knowing that as entrepreneurs, we're doing this business thing for the long haul. So don't be discouraged if in the beginning your videos are not reaching millions of people, if you're not getting a lot of engagement right out of the gate. Just keep being consistent and keep uploading the content that you do want to share with your audience. Think as if you already have millions of subscribers. Show up that way. Like, what would you be sharing? What kind of videos would you be creating? What kind of topics are you passionately here to talk about? So that was definitely the mindset piece that I had to adapt early on as well. So I really want to put that out there for anyone who is struggling with this, like me, the instant gratification versus that long-term vision. And the third thing that I would say is, just with anything related to business, make sure that you have an understanding of how you see YouTube fit into your overall business and marketing strategy. Because most of the times, it's actually the more seasoned entrepreneurs that I work with that struggle the most with being consistent on YouTube and actually seeing the fruits of their labor, because they are, the experts in what they do. But something like YouTube, for the majority of us, is relatively new. Unless you watch YouTube every day across multiple niches, unless you eat, breathe, and sleep YouTube, there's going to be things that you're unaware of when it comes to the platform. So it's really important to know, how YouTube works, and also look at your own business holistically and see how they can work really well together in a way that's really fun for you and that you can be consistent with. So that would be my like third biggest piece of advice when it comes to starting on YouTube.
All excellent advice. And would you say that your people that come to you, like, they're kind of drawn to YouTube and there's something that's calling to them, but they just want to pursue it, but they don't really know how to or what to do or in what order?
Exactly. And it's so normal, right? Like, unless you're really passionate about that one specific platform, it's okay for you to not know ins and outs of it. But ultimately, it all really boils down to knowing who you're talking to. And, if you are already running your own business for a while, and if you've been reaching those higher level, let's say, financial goals, and you're really ambitious, like, there's a really high chance you already know who those people are. And it never hurts to go back to that, revisit who your ideal audience is before starting to create videos for YouTube, because it's so interesting. Like, I like to think of this whole ideal client work as a living organism. You have to revisit it every couple of months. It's not like you set it and forget it. So before venturing out to creating videos for YouTube, go back to the basics, see who you're talking to, see if things have shifted, or did you gain any more nuanced information regarding your ideal audience that you can like pull in and bring inside your video content. So once you have that done, I feel like the rest of the pieces of the puzzle will start to make themselves more obvious to you as a business owner.
Yes, yes. I mean, I agree completely that your ideal client is evolving, your perception of them, you're evolving, and you can get more nuanced around like who you're speaking to and how you're speaking to them. Yes, that's great advice. And then, when it comes to like setting up YouTube and like having a strategy, and I love what you said before about like does it fit into like this overall strategy of your business? Because is there like a YouTube strategy and then YouTube as a part of your business strategy, or are those the same? How would you kind of break that down?
Yeah, that's such a great question too. I think a lot of people ask this to themselves, and the sheer amount of information out there when it comes to YouTube can also feel very overwhelming, because there's a lot of great video marketers, great channels on YouTube about YouTube that talk about YouTube, but a lot of them are very much geared towards just non-business owners that want to start and grow YouTube channels. But there's not a lot of information when it comes to business owners who want to leverage YouTube. So
Okay.
on the business side of things, the couple of things that you really should consider is, if you are already at that multiple six-figure level, and if you have a signature offer, for example, that you've battle tested several times, and that you definitely honed in the back end, and you're able to deliver great results to like several hundred clients at all times, this is a great place for you to actually scale that offer by growing an audience on YouTube. So that will be through, most of the time, through some sort of an evergreen funnel. I'm a big fan of webinar funnels. You might have different funnels of your own, but ultimately at that stage, then YouTube becomes your evergreen organic lead generation source. And once you start to grow a following on there, you can also retarget those viewers and subscribers with ads to then make the invitation to come join your world, to purchase your course, whether it's an offer you want to scale, or whether you have like a higher ticket offer. That's something that a lot of my clients have as well. And when it comes to that, it becomes less about the volume of views and subscribers, but then it becomes more about like the quality of
Hmm.
subscribers and viewers, because then you don't need such a huge volume to hit your big financial goals. So that's like number one thing. Which one are you leaning more towards? Do you want a lot of volume, and do you have a signature course that can practically run without you, that you really truly want to scale, like multiple seven figures, maybe eight figures and beyond? Or are you the kind of entrepreneurs who prefers to work more intimately one on one with clients? Therefore, you might want to go for more niche topics that might not get a lot of views, that might not get a big mass appeal, but then they will get viewed by the right kind of person looking for something super nuanced, let's say. So I would say like that's step number one. Step number two is, this is a mistake I made. I started my channel because, like I said, I wanted to make this transition, and I thought the best way to do that was by providing a lot of valuable content, a lot of searchable evergreen content. And I realized I probably did that for a little too long. And this
Okay.
is why in my four-part proprietary EAT-P framework, letter P stands for personal. I encourage everyone, doesn't matter, if you're a business owner or if you just want to do YouTube for fun, you need those personal videos so you don't build a solely transactional relationship with your audience. Because when you have help content, all that evergreen search based content, people might come get the answer to their question and they might bounce off. And we want them to keep coming, not always because of the information, but because of the person that you are. So putting that personal pieces of content as part of your strategy is also really, really important. So that's letter P. Letter E is evergreen. That's kind of like your engine. It's going to make sure that your content is always going to be relevant several years down the line. I like to liken the evergreen content to the Chanel bags of your industry. You know, they were in fashion a couple of years ago. They're probably going to be in fashion couple more years down the line. It's probably gonna keep increasing in price. You know, it's always going to be relevant. So think about what these questions are in your industry, in your niche. And most of the times, what I'm finding is when you are the subject matter expert, these questions feel a little bit basic. But that's
Hmm.
fine. You know, it's okay to start with the basics. It's okay to have those as part of your content strategy because of the searchability factor. Letter A, as part of EAT P, is your authority building mini webinar. So this is kind of like a more in-depth video that tends to be slightly longer in length. So it can even be half an hour or longer, where you teach a part of your own framework or a part of your own thought leadership or part of your own process in a lot of detail to your audience, and you really go deep. And at the end of the authority building mini webinar, the main call to action is typically, you know, buy my thing, I can help you further, or hey, schedule a call with me so we can speak about your own specific business to see how I can help you move forward. And these videos also help with the watch time on YouTube because they are longer in length. The longer the piece of video, the longer people watch it. That's always a positive signal to the algorithm that this video is useful. And the algorithm's job is to serve the right kind of content to the right audience at the right time. And you're able to attract more eyeballs through that mechanism. And then letter T is trends. Trends are kind of what I like to call your short lived, like your most short lived content. But it's really important to get like a big surge of eyeballs your way. And then your evergreen videos, your personal videos, and your authority building mini webinar videos will almost like funnel out the views and the viewers that were not so relevant to you. But it's so important to have those trends in place to be able to get the eyeballs that your channel needs. And before we move on, I do want to mention this here as well. When it comes to trends, I like to think about them in two ways. There is the of the moment trends, and there's also seasonal trends. So if you're a business owner, what would make the most sense is to focus on the seasonal trends, because then those videos will also have somewhat more of a longevity. Let's say like every October, November period, it's Black Friday, it's the promotional period. If you're a business and marketing coach, if you make content covering Black Friday promotions, that piece of content is going to have relevancy every year during autumn time. But there might also be of the moment news, like when Chat GPT came about, or when, you know, Threads is now a thing on Instagram. That's very much of the moment. It's like hip and it's happening. It's a trendy topic. And if you make videos covering those now, you're more likely to attract a lot of eyeballs because of the sheer volume of people searching them. But in short, these four pieces of content in combination with the offer that you're trying to sell will be the bedrock of your YouTube strategy when it comes to your business.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And that would be a lot to sort through on your own, right? If somebody was going to try and DIY all of that, they would probably get lost. And what are some of the pitfalls that people fall into and traps that they fall into when they're trying to DIY their YouTube strategy?
Yeah. So I notice a lot of people make a video. A lot of the entrepreneurs I work with also have communities on, you know, Facebook or on another platform where they go live, impromptu, talk about a topic, kind of freestyle, which, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. I do a little bit of that sometimes myself too. But it's a common pitfall to then try to put that video over at YouTube and then
Mhm.
get disappointed when you see it's really not performing the way that you want it to, because you didn't think about the topic, title, and thumbnail before actually creating the video. So even if you do want to make a live video, it's really important for you to know exactly what the topic is, why it's relevant for your audience, how you're going to package it, aka your title and your thumbnail combination that's going to entice people to actually click on the video, and that the video content itself delivers on the promise of the video title. Then it's going to be a little bit like spraying and praying that the video is going to perform well. So I encourage you to take that extra step to think about the topic, title, and the thumbnail before actually creating the video. So that's kind of common pitfall number one. The second one is, again, when it comes to entrepreneurs that want to also put their video podcasts on YouTube, in a similar fashion, think about the topic, think about how you're going to hook people in the first 30 seconds, and give people a solid reason to stay and actually either watch or listen to the podcast on YouTube. Simply putting the audio version of your podcast on YouTube is not really going to cut it, because YouTube is still a primarily visual platform. So even if you do want to put your own podcast out there on YouTube, see if you can make it a little bit more dynamic, right? See if
Mhm.
you can like change things up on the screen. See if you can like zoom in on the speaker, zoom out when needed, put text on the screen or what have you, to really keep it as engaging as possible. And do that after, again, you've defined your topic and your title and your thumbnail. And then the third thing is really do your search engine optimization research, because YouTube, after all, it's still the world's second largest search engine. And you do want to make sure that you get all that juicy SEO traffic to your offers and your website. And that boils down to really looking at your keywords, specifically your longer tail keyword phrases that you really want to be known for. Identify a couple that are the most relevant for you, and then see how you can weave those in to your video titles and your thumbnails so that you have the highest potential to be found for those phrases. It's not sexy at all. It's actually kind of boring. But ultimately, this is what allowed me personally to basically take almost 11 months off from posting over at my YouTube channel and still grow, still get leads, still get sales calls booked, and still sign clients, because I invested a lot in the early stages of my YouTube channel, doing that SEO research and creating that evergreen search based content. On the flip side of things, now my biggest thing I'm working on is to really up my personal content so that I can also build a more deeper connection with my audience. But those are the three biggest pitfalls that I noticed, that I want to make sure that I put it out here so that your audience doesn't make the same mistakes.
Yes, because I know the repurposed Facebook Live, and yeah, you see that, and it's like, I don't want to watch your Facebook Live on YouTube. Like, so really thinking about the content being designed for the platform that it's being published on. I think that's excellent. And would you say that like what you're describing in your framework and your process, does that replace like a traditional like direct response funnel? Like people can essentially set up their funnel through YouTube with the strategy that you teach?
Yeah, so I do want to mention one thing, because I also don't want the audience to think like, oh, great, now another piece of content I need to make for another platform. This is boring or this is annoying. You can still show up with a Facebook Live, but just make sure that the first 30 seconds is not like, hi, everyone. Okay, am I live? Let me know in the chat. Can you hear me? Let me know hashtag replay if you're not here. I'm saying this verbatim because I used to do this. And then I
Yeah.
would get frustrated, like, why are people not watching my YouTube videos? But if you know your topic, you can be really intentional. You could be like, hi, I'm Gulce. Today we're talking about this and this and this. Let's dive right into it. If you're catching this on the replay, let me know replay. Okay, the first thing I want to share with you is this.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a little bit more snappy, a little bit more intentional with the way that you lead the intro, you can totally put that over at YouTube and it will perform, 99% better than like all the other content out there. But regarding the second point about the funnel, basically you can mention people that you can say at the end of videos or in the beginning of the videos even, for people to visit a certain website where you have your landing page, and that could be like the detonation point of your funnel, so that your email list grows, and then you make the next step invitation to the people who join your email list. And basically over time this starts to run on autopilot,
Mm-hmm.
because your content on YouTube is going to be searchable 24/7 across all the different parts of the world. I sometimes wake up, like this is just really common for me now. I wake up to new email subscribers because someone was watching my content literally when I was asleep in a different part of the world. And then
Mm-hmm.
I notice, I get my stats, okay, I notice people started to watch my webinar. I can see like how far they've watched it, where they dropped off, which emails are they clicking, are they buying, are they not buying, did anyone schedule a call with me, when is my next sales call, so that I can prepare for that. But ultimately, this is kind of how my funnel is set up. All my traffic is coming from YouTube for Making It in Holland. And then people join my email list, download my opt in. They usually book a call or not book a call. If they book a call, great, we get on a call. If they don't book a call, there is a series of emails that encourage them to book a call again. And if they still don't do that, there is an opportunity for a downsell as well. So that's kind of how it works in terms of having YouTube as like your primary lead generation source. It's basically it's basically getting unlimited traffic. You're just not paying for it.
Mm-hmm. Who doesn't love that? I mean, organic traffic is really hot in 2023. And it's interesting because it used to get kind of a bad rap years ago. I remember when I started online, oh, organic is unpredictable and you got to have paid ads. And now it seems like it's flipped, where the business owners that I know that have organic funnels, they're performing much better, and organic lead gen is performing much better than paid traffic, specifically the FB platform, from
Yeah,
what I've been seeing. So it is one of those things that, building up your organic traffic is something that's really valuable for your business, and doing it in a strategic way through YouTube, I mean, even better.
exactly. And ironically, these days, if you are spending money on ads, you actually need to pay even more attention to your organic content,
Yes.
because ads is only one of the first initial touch points with you.
Right.
Once someone sees you through an ad, they're gonna want to check you out. They're gonna Google you, they're gonna YouTube you, they're gonna see if you have other profiles elsewhere. Are you
Yeah.
up to date?
A legit business.
Are you
Yes.
still posting organic content, or like was the last time you posted was 2 years ago? I'm going to be straight up here. Like when I see ads from people and I check them out and I see that the most recent content that they uploaded was like older than 6 months, I'm sorry to admit this, but I'm more likely to take you a little less seriously. And I think this is something we need to talk about more openly, because we all do this kind of judging, whether we like it
Mhm.
or not, right? Like
Yeah.
we are visual creatures and we are skeptical in the online world. There's a lot of great entrepreneurs, but then there's also some not so great entrepreneurs that pretty much bring the entire industry a little bit lower. So
Mhm.
when you do see an ad, people think, okay, well, are you legit though? Let me check you out on another platform. Let me see if you have blogs. Let me see if you have videos. Let me see if I like you. Can I trust you? That like trusting thing is now a big thing in 2023, and organic helps with the building of the trust more.
Right, right. Especially like in the YouTube, if they can go back and see, oh my gosh, this person's been making videos for the last 5 years or 7 years, or they've been creating content. And that's not discourage somebody who's not creating content and hasn't been doing it for years, but that we'll call it like validate and verify. And this is something I'm constantly bringing up with my clients. So you're definitely speaking my language here, where they
Mhm.
just get so dependent on ads, and they're not posting, and they're not consistent. And even those people that don't buy right away, like if you keep nurturing them and you keep showing up, they will buy eventually, some of those leads that are in your pipeline and in your audience. So
Exactly.
yeah.
100%. And these days, as you know, like we need so many more touch points to
Yes.
be able to build that know, like, and trust factor, because people are smarter, people have more options, and
Yeah.
people spend more time in that browsing space, which is totally, totally okay. It's totally valid. So, as business owners, we need to be aware of that. And, you know, it's smart not to ignore this fact and act
Hmm.
accordingly. And, posting organic content consistently doesn't mean posting constantly.
Hmm.
Pick a schedule that works for you. If
Yeah.
bi-weekly videos is your jam, do that. Put one video every 14 days. You don't need to do it every day. You don't need to do it every week. Just pick a cadence that works for you, so that in combination with your other efforts, you're basically elevating yourself and setting everything up for success.
So well said. Well, thank you so much, Gulce, for your insight and your wisdom. And this was a great conversation today. And let everybody know where they can connect with you. And we will be providing links to your website and your YouTube channel and all of the things. But if people don't want to wait and go click, where can you tell them to go?
Sure, you can check me out over at videosalesmastery.com. You can just search Gulce over at YouTube. I think I'm probably one of the only Gulces. You'll recognize my profile picture on there, for both of my channels. And you can also come say hello inside my Facebook community, where I have over 1,000 amazing entrepreneurs who are the YouTube jump starters. They want to start and scale profitable YouTube channels for their online business. We nerd out about video marketing, YouTube. We can share the videos that we created, ask for feedback, get some tech help, ask some questions when it comes to strategy. And every time I have either a free or a paid workshop, you'll be one of the first people to know. So it would be awesome if you do want to come check us out and be part of the community as well.
Excellent. Well, thank you for joining today. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in to More Influence and Impact. This is Celia Faye Meisel, and we will see you next time. Bye for